Russian troops continue to launch targeted strikes against enemy military facilities on Ukrainian territory. In Poltava region, explosions erupted at the Mirorod Air Base, from where Storm Shadow cruise missile carriers periodically take off. The AFU, in their turn, do not stop terrorizing the Russian border region. In the Kursk region, an enemy UAV dropped 3 cluster munitions on an oil factory in the town of Sudzha, and several villages were also shelled. The neighboring Belgorod region, which is under daily fire from the AFU, also suffered. Veluki came under heavy shelling, where residential houses and several cars were damaged. In addition to shelling frontline areas in Donbas, Ukrainian security services continue to carry out terrorist acts. In Luhansk, the former head of the LPR People's Militia Mikhail Filiponenko was killed as a result of an explosive device. Meanwhile, fierce fighting along the entire line of contact continues unabated on the fronts. Near Kupiansk, the Russian armed forces managed to extend their zone of control west of Pervomaisky and also consolidate their positions near Sinkivka. In the Soledar direction, Russian forces counterattacked, taking advantage of the redeployment of enemy forces to the Avdiivka area. To the north of Bakhmut, the zone of control near Berkivka was expanded, while to the south, the main fighting took place near Klishchivka and Andriivka. In the Donetsk direction, Russian units continue their operation to cover the Avdiivka fortified area. On the northern flank, the Russian armed forces expanded their zone of control west of the railroad track near Petrovsky and in forest lines northwest of Krasnohorivka. To the south, Russian troops continue to advance in landings towards Shverna. Another group is working to destroy an AFU fortification in the Khimik district on the southern outskirts of Avdiivka. In the Zaporizhia direction, the AFU is preparing to resume intensive combat operations in the Orokhivsky section to restrain the Russian armed forces. The enemy launched several attacks in the Verbov area, all of which were successfully suppressed by artillery fire. At the same time, the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has returned to plans for provocations at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant and Dnipro hydroelectric power plant. The main goal is to accuse Russian troops of sabotage, while the probability of their realization will depend on the situation on the left bank of the Dnipro River. As for the left bank itself, the AFU retain control over the central part of the village of Krinky, from where they are trying to launch attacks to the south. The Russian forces are unable to eliminate the enemy's bridgehead without transferring reserves to this area. To the west, the AFU assault groups managed to gain a foothold in the forest belt and attempted to attack in the direction of Pishchenivka and Pidstepny. Russian units uncovered the enemy's plans and foiled them with concentrated artillery fire.